Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Simon, a second year medical student at the University of Zambia, and in this video I'm going to talk about learning how to fail smartly. Yeah, you heard that right, learning how to fail smartly. Now you have probably heard from a lot of motivational speakers whereby they talk about this concept of failing being an important aspect of your success. Now nobody really talks about how you can get the benefits of this failing process without actually failing at your actual career or something. Yeah, so this is what I want to talk about in this video. Now to explain this concept really well, I'm going to use a story which I saw from a video by Jay Shetty, which I think most of you actually know. He's a motivational speaker and an ex-monk, I think. Yeah, an ex-monk. Yeah, so he had a very short story which I think we can reflect back to our academics, but it was actually about life in his video. Yeah, so the story goes like this. There were two gardeners. Let's label them gardener A and gardener B. Both of them had their own gardens and they used to take care of their plants a bit differently. So gardener A used to provide every single thing that the plants needed. He used to apply fertilizer, used to water the plants every single day, as in everything the plants needed to grow was in absolute abundance. Now gardener B also supplied these things, but he did not supply them in abundance. He supplied everything that was needed to sustain the plants and to make them grow to at a reasonably good pace and quality, but not everything in abundance. Now what happened is one night came a very huge storm. Yeah, now the intensity of the storm was actually the same on both gardens. Yeah, but when the morning came, these gardens were found in different conditions, as in they were affected by the storm to different intensities, or rather extents. Yeah, so now let's take a guess. Which garden do you think was found in a better condition? Do you think it is the garden of gardener A or the garden of gardener B? Just take a guess. So if your guess is the garden of gardener A, then your answer is absolutely wrong. Yeah, so why is this so? So the thing is, the plants of gardener A had everything in abundance, hence their roots did not grow deep into the ground because everything was there on the surface of the soil. They did not need to grow their roots down into the soil, while the plants of gardener B had what they needed, but it was not in abundance such that this was a stimulant for them to grow their roots down into the ground. Hence they were firm and were able to withstand the storm. Now obviously most of you have already picked up the lesson of this video. The lesson of this story, according to Jay Shetty, the lesson of this story was basically about life, as in the difficulties of life. Those difficulties are going to help you grow, and those difficulties are an important aspect of your growth, and everything we can go on and talk about that. But the main purpose of this story, I want to reflect it back to our academics. How can we reflect this to our academics? This is where the concept of learning how to fail smartly is. So the core idea of this entire video is you should be consistently subjecting yourself to challenges that you are likely to fail. Yeah, now how does this help us in our academics? So we come to a concept which is well known among neurologists and everybody out there who is interested in neurology or something. This concept is called neuroplasticity. Now neuroplasticity is simply the ability of the brain to form new neural connections when it is subjected to a new challenge or subjected to the learning of a new skill. So in layman's language, this forming of new neural connections is basically making you smarter. Yeah, it is basically just that. So basically you become more intelligent, which enhances your problem solving skills. The way the brain is, I can liken it to a muscle. Not actually that the brain is like a muscle, but the way it is, for those people who have lifted weights before, you know that actually muscle building happens because when you lift weights, you lift until you cannot lift anymore, such that you push yourself to failure. It is at that is the stimulus which is going to force your muscles to grow. So basically your muscles are going to know that this person is lifting heavy things, hence there is need to grow stronger. So the brain works in a similar way, such that the brain is only going to form new neural connections. In layman's language, it is going to become more intelligent only if it is continuously subjected to tasks that challenge it. So you really need to step out of your comfort zone for you to get the benefits of this. Now, getting back to the title of this video, which is learning how to fail smartly. So I want to talk about how we can intentionally put it in our study techniques so that we can really enjoy the benefits of failing. Failing has got benefits. Yeah, so for us to learn the lessons of failing. So that is what I want to get to in this video. Okay, so the first thing which I'm going to talk about is failing before you actually fail. Yeah, so what do I mean by failing before you actually fail? The thing is, when you are writing an exam and you fail that exam, you have failed, because that is going to determine whether you are going to proceed in your academics or not. But you can fail the exam before you actually fail the exam, so that your failing of the exam before you actually fail the exam reduces the chances of you actually failing the exam. Now I got you right there. So what do I mean? Let me just put this in an example. For example, in my first year, when we wrote the second test of mathematics, test 2 of mathematics, I didn't fail, but I didn't really perform really well. Yeah, I didn't perform to my maximum potential. Now the thing is, when I came out of this test, I went through the questions again, and I did not even look at any notes, but I was able to answer questions which I didn't answer in the exam. Yeah, so I could identify that my failing of this test was not really that I didn't know what to do, but the problem was with my speed, managing of stress, and accuracy, but mostly speed and accuracy. Now what did I do? So I had to start subjecting myself to challenges that are going to challenge my accuracy and my speed, and ensure that I continue giving myself tasks that are going to challenge these two, so that I can get better at them. So what did I do? I started solving past papers. A final exam at the University of Zambia for mathematics first year is mostly 3 hours, if not always, mostly 3 hours. So I started writing those past papers. I would test myself in a duration of 2 hours. So in this duration of 2 hours, my aim was to finish the entire past paper. And the other thing was to make sure that every single question that I solve, I have to solve it with as precise and as accurate as I can be. No mistakes. Guess what? In all the past papers that I solved, or the past papers that I tried to answer in exactly 2 hours, I failed. I never finished any past paper in 2 hours. But guess what? All that failing meant that I could not fail the exam, and I can testify that technique actually helped me to get the best grade that I could ever wish for in mathematics for my first year. So I actually subjected myself to a lot of failure to reduce the chances of me failing at the final exam. Now this not only applies in academics, and I'm sure those people who are into a lot of fields can testify. Even soccer, the reason for training, for endurance, you have to push yourself until you cannot do it anymore. If you play soccer for 90 minutes, it makes no sense to train for 80 minutes. You have to train more than that. So you have to train to your failure point. So you have to extend that time, so that when a soccer match actually starts, that 90 minutes is going to be very manageable to you. So that is what I mean by failing before you actually fail. Okay, so the second thing which I do to reap the benefits of failing is not avoiding challenging tasks. Now, what I mean by not avoiding challenging tasks is mostly when you encounter a question which is very challenging, a lot of people are very quick to run to sources which are going to give them the answers, either the internet or maybe the textbooks or even a friend asking questions. Now, all that is not that bad, but you should know when to do this. So what do I mean by this? Now, the system which I'm going to tell you right now is something which is really opinionate. It is something that I have just been doing on my own, and I found that it has helped me a lot, and I thought I should share it with you so that you can see if you would want to try it or not. Okay, so the thing is, when you are solving a challenging problem and you find that it is hard, spend a quality amount of time without searching for the answer in any other extra source, but try your best to use the information you already have and your mental power to solve that problem. Now, chances are, if that question is really challenging, you're not going to find the answer. But you come back to the issue of neuroplasticity that I talked about. The more time you try to figure out the question, the more your brain grows. So you enhance your problem solving ability. So you really need to spend a lot of time on those challenging questions. Now, this is going to take a lot of time when you're actually studying, but it is worth it, I can tell you. So what I actually do, the process which I follow is, if a question is challenging, especially if the question is something is related to a concept which I kind of know, so as in I have those bits of information which I can try to connect the dots and try to solve the question. Now, yeah, so it is a bit different from a question which you have absolutely no idea. Now, that is a different case. So when you try your best using your mental power to solve that question, you increase the ability of the brain to solve problems. So the next thing I do is, I do not like to go online to search for it on a search engine such as Google. Now, we all know Uncle Google is a lifesaver, but Uncle Google should not be used every single time. So the thing is, go to a textbook. Now, the reason why I like a textbook is you actually have to look for the answer yourself in the notes. Now, the good part about this is, as you are looking for the answer in the notes, you are going to find other necessary information that build up to the answer that you are looking for. Now, this is going to give you a broader context, as in you're going to understand your content really, really well. Now, if you do not find it there, that is when you can go online. Chances are, mostly online, when you ask a question, the answer is going to come as in more directly, as in there is no difficulty in finding the answer online. Yeah, now it is that difficulty that we want to preserve, and it is that difficulty that is going to help us grow. Now, actually, before you even go online, if you have some friends who are there, try asking your friends. Now, the good part about asking friends is friends are able to explain the information in a way that is very simple to understand, in the sense that you understand each other. So they are going to use words and terms, and are going to give practical examples which you can actually relate to, and that is going to help you understand. That is the other good part about group discussions, and I'm going to make a video about group discussions and how you can make these group discussions really effective in the near future. So remember to subscribe to this channel, like and share this video, so that you can also enjoy the content which is coming after this. Okay, so one thing to note about what I have said is, when I say subject yourself to tasks which you are likely to fail, I want you to be very reasonable with this, and choose something which is very realistic. I do not mean go and choose 1,000 questions and try to solve them in 10 minutes, or go and select a question which you have no idea about and try to solve it. What I mean is, you know yourself, and everybody actually can recognize that this is a difficulty which I can go through. So those difficulties, try not to avoid them, and try to work in those situations that give you a bit of stress. yeah, you should actually step out of your comfort zone. Yeah, so this is actually what I mean by failing smartly. So basically the core idea is subjecting yourself to tasks that you are likely to fail, so that you fail in your practice. So get that right, in your practice, so that when an actual test or examination or a football match if you're a footballer, or a concert or live performance if you're a musician, before that actually comes, you could have already tried a lot of times and failed, and learning all the lessons that are a result of failure. Now this does not mean that you're not going to fail at anything that you do. Now failure is somehow inevitable. Anybody who tries is going to pass through failure. Yeah, but that is actually understandable. So the thing is, this is just something which is going to ensure that you do not fail in most of your crucial times or crucial testing times, because you are constantly subjecting yourself to failure and learning the lessons that you have to get from failure. So somebody said failure is only failure if you do not learn anything from it. So if you learn anything from it, it becomes a lesson. So basically you are giving yourself lessons by subjecting yourself to failure. So you can incorporate these two things which I have talked about in this video, and you can even use other ways that you can subject yourself to challenging tasks which are going to push you to failure and reap the benefits of failure. Alright guys, that's it for today. So remember to subscribe to my channel, like this video and share, and I want you to comment down below. I want you to comment how you found this information, and I also want you to comment your questions, because this is going to be helping me on what things actually I have to concentrate on. Yeah, so comment your questions that you have about the content I'm giving, and other information that you might want me to cover in the near future. So see you next time.